What is happening, crypto fam? Get ready for a rapid-fire update that you absolutely cannot afford to miss. The market is moving at lightning speed, and we've got the inside scoop on the stories that are making waves right now. Buckle up, because this is Bitcoin Bulletin, and we're diving deep into the action. First up, we're talking about a historical pattern that seems to be holding true yet again. Remember those conferences that always seem to coincide with a dip? Well, it looks like history is repeating itself, and the latest event in Hong Kong is no exception. We've got the details on why this recurring indicator is striking again and what it means for the charts. Get ready for some eye-opening analysis that could shape your next move. Then, we shift gears to a jaw-dropping long-term forecast that's got everyone talking. One of the big players in the asset management space has dropped a new outlook, and the numbers are astronomical. We're talking about a potential future for Bitcoin that could redefine its status as a store of value. Prepare to be amazed as we break down the projections and the reasoning behind them. Next, we're bringing you insights directly from the Bitcoin Asia conference, featuring a prominent voice who believes Bitcoin is leveling the financial playing field. We'll explore the arguments about Bitcoin's role in creating a world without financial disparity between different socioeconomic classes, and what this means for the broader adoption narrative. It's a perspective that challenges conventional thinking and offers a unique look at the digital asset's potential. Finally, we're wrapping up with a look at the market's reaction as the weekend approaches. We'll cover the latest price movements, including some surprising gains for a key player in the mining sector, and explore the exciting developments in the corporate treasury space for another major digital asset. There's a lot to unpack, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, and make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell on so you never miss an update. Bitcoin's conference curse strikes again. Historical data surrounding Bitcoin Magazine's annual U.S. Bitcoin conference has consistently shown a pattern of weaker price performance for Bitcoin during and immediately following the event. This indicator proved accurate once more in 2025, as Bitcoin struggled in late May and early June, mirroring and then following the trajectory of this year's Las Vegas conference. The underlying logic for this price action is quite straightforward. In the weeks leading up to such gatherings, organizers often engage in overhyping speakers and promoting anticipated, massive announcements to drive ticket sales and generate media buzz. This creates an environment of heightened expectations. What typically follows is a familiar parade of influencers, Bitcoin OGs, and newcomers to the sector. This year notably including the Trump family, all extolling the virtues of freedom money, predicting massive institutional and sovereign adoption, and forecasting a Bitcoin to the moon scenario. Given this atmosphere, it's hardly surprising that the price action often reflects a downturn. For those who might not have been paying close attention, the Bitcoin Magazine's Bitcoin Asia conference recently took place in Hong Kong. The featured speakers included prominent figures such as Eric Trump, CZ, Adam Back, Balaji Srinivasan, and David Bailey. Among the key topics discussed were, unsurprisingly, freedom money, massive institutional and sovereign adoption, and the familiar refrain of Bitcoin to the moon. The price action during and after this event told a similar story, with Bitcoin trading at around $115,000 as attendees began arriving in Hong Kong earlier this week. The cryptocurrency experienced a significant tumble, falling to approximately $108,400. This included a notable 4% drop overnight in the US, which was Friday in Hong Kong, precisely as David Bailey and Eric Trump took the stage for a discussion titled, "Bitcoin Takes Over the World." This recurring trend, often dubbed the conference curse, suggests that the anticipation and subsequent market sentiment surrounding these large industry events may be contributing to predictable price movements. While the exact cause and effect are debated, the historical correlation remains a point of interest for many market observers. But is this pattern set in stone, or could future events break the cycle? Prepare for a look at a long-term forecast that paints a much brighter picture for Bitcoin's future. Bitwise predicts Bitcoin to hit $1.3 million by 2035. Bitwise Asset Management has released a new long-term outlook for Bitcoin, projecting a base case price of approximately $1.31 million by the year 2035. This forecast implies an impressive annualized return of 28.3% over the next decade. The San Francisco-based crypto investment firm, which manages assets totaling about $15 billion, has also set a more optimistic bull case target of $2.98 million and a conservative bear case floor of $88,000 for the same period. Bitwise attributes this significant projected appreciation to several key factors. Chief among these are the steady and consistent inflows into U.S. spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, ETFs, which have demonstrated robust investor demand since their approval. Additionally, the firm highlights the growing use of Bitcoin as an inflation hedge, a role that has become increasingly important in a volatile global economic climate. Crucially, Bitcoin's inherent scarcity, with a fixed supply capped at 21 million coins, underpins its potential as a long-term store of value. The firm argues that these combined factors position Bitcoin to potentially rival gold as a primary global store of value over the coming decade. As institutional adoption continues to grow and Bitcoin's utility as a hedge against economic uncertainty solidifies, its market dominance is expected to increase. The development of ETFs has been a critical catalyst, making Bitcoin more accessible to a broader range of investors, including traditional financial institutions and retail participants alike. This increased accessibility, coupled with its fundamental properties of scarcity and decentralization, forms the basis of Bitwise's optimistic outlook. The report emphasizes that the 28.3% annualized return is a base case scenario, suggesting that actual performance could be even higher if certain market conditions align favorably. The bull case scenario of $2.98 million by 2035 would represent an even more accelerated growth rate, driven by factors such as wider regulatory clarity, increased sovereign adoption, and technological advancements that further enhance Bitcoin's utility and scalability. Conversely, the bear case scenario of $88,000 accounts for potential headwinds, such as significant regulatory crackdowns or unforeseen technological disruptions, although Bitwise views these as less probable. This analysis from Bitwise, a respected player in the crypto investment landscape, provides a compelling narrative for Bitcoin's long-term potential. It underscores the ongoing shift in perception of Bitcoin from a speculative asset to a fundamental component of diversified investment portfolios, valued for its unique properties as a digital store of value. The firm's detailed projections are based on extensive market research and analysis of macroeconomic trends, offering a data-driven perspective on what the future may hold for the flagship cryptocurrency. These ambitious projections certainly offer a glimpse into a potentially lucrative future for Bitcoin holders. But what about the immediate impact of major industry events? We've got insights from a key conference speaker that challenge conventional views. Eric Trump, Bitcoin bridges the financial divide. Speaking at the recent Bitcoin Asia conference in Hong Kong, Eric Trump, son of former U.S. President Donald Trump, articulated a vision where Bitcoin serves as a financial equalizer, eliminating disparities between socioeconomic classes for the first time in history. Trump shared his perspective on his father's support for the cryptocurrency industry, his own entry into the space, and his family's expanding involvement in crypto and digital assets. Trump contrasted the traditional financial system with Bitcoin's potential, stating, "The traditional financial system in the world has benefited guys like me, and it hasn't benefited the vast majority of people." He elaborated that the existing system primarily benefits those with existing wealth who can leverage connections to secure favorable terms, such as lower loan rates or waived fees. In his view, Bitcoin operates on a fundamentally different principle. "For the first time, you have a community that is agnostic to true wealth," Trump asserted, suggesting that Bitcoin offers the same opportunities to an individual in sub-Saharan Africa as it does to an executive on Wall Street. He described Bitcoin as the greatest asset that's arguably ever been created, emphasizing its accessibility to the masses and its role as a level playing field. This egalitarian portrayal, however, stood in some contrast to other points in his discussion. Earlier in his remarks, Trump had spoken about significant adoption by sovereign wealth funds, Fortune 500 companies, and nation-states, even sharing anecdotes about conversations with influential figures in the region. This suggests a dual reality where Bitcoin is simultaneously championed as an accessible tool for the masses and a strategic asset for powerful entities. This dynamic has sparked considerable discussion within the crypto community. Experts like Conrad Young, co-founder of digital asset strategy firm Paragon, acknowledge Trump's point about Bitcoin's inherent decentralization, reducing traditional finance's levers for the wealthy. However, Young also noted that the industry today is dominated by institutions and large holders, and that recent retail gains were often driven by institutional recognition rather than purely grassroots movements. He added that crypto's true leveling force for developing economies lies in its ability to facilitate cross-border capital movement, making assets available globally, even if shaped by Western institutions. Ali Sammer, founder of decentralized commerce platform Droplinked, echoed this sentiment, highlighting that while crypto has the potential to address socioeconomic divides, access remains a significant barrier, particularly for those without basic internet connectivity. The path to true financial inclusion is long, and we have a lot of work to do, Sammer stated, underscoring the gap between Bitcoin's egalitarian ideals and its current practical accessibility. Eric Trump's comments certainly highlight the ongoing debate about Bitcoin's role as both an accessible asset for all and a strategic play for the powerful. But as the market digests these perspectives, how is the broader crypto landscape performing as the weekend approaches? We've got the latest on market movements and some surprising corporate moves. Bitcoin faces weekend dip amid broader market downturn. The cryptocurrency market experienced a general downturn as the long weekend commenced, with Bitcoin hovering around the $108,000 mark, levels not seen since early July. The flagship cryptocurrency saw a 3.5% decrease in the past 24 hours, reflecting a broader risk-off sentiment that also impacted other digital assets, such as Solana, which was down 2% over the same period. Despite the general market slump, there were pockets of positive news. Bitcoin miner Iris Energy saw a significant surge of 16% in its stock price. This rally was fueled by the company's full-year earnings report, which showcased record revenue and net income. Furthermore, Iris Energy announced it had secured preferred partner status from NVIDIA and expanded its total GPU fleet to 10.9K NVIDIA GPUs, signaling strong growth and strategic partnerships within the AI and mining sectors. Iris Energy reported a substantial increase in total revenue, reaching $501 million, a 168% jump compared to the previous fiscal year. Its net income stood at $86.9 million, a marked improvement from a net loss of $28.9 million in the prior fiscal year. The company also reported an EBITDA of $241.4 million, including $1 billion in annualized revenue from Bitcoin mining under current economic conditions. In parallel, the Solana ecosystem saw notable activity, particularly in the corporate treasury space. DeFi Development Corp announced the launch of DFDV UK, positioning it as the first Solana-focused public treasury vehicle in the United Kingdom. This initiative is part of DFDV's broader Treasury Accelerator strategy aimed at expanding Solana treasuries globally. Parker White, DFDV's COO and CIO, stated that this move will provide UK investors with access to a curated Solana accumulation vehicle managed by a local team, with plans to announce similar ventures in the coming weeks. DeFi Development Corp also increased its Solana holdings, acquiring an additional 407,247 SOL, bringing its total holdings to 1.83 million SOL, making it one of the largest corporate holders of the token. Meanwhile, Sharps Technology, a company that recently entered the Solana treasury space, announced the closing of its $400 million PIPE deal. Alice Zhang, CIO of Sharps Technology, indicated that this funding positions the company to build one of the largest Solana treasuries globally, with potential proceeds reaching up to $1 billion if all warrants are exercised. The company also signed a non-binding letter of intent with the Solana Foundation to purchase $50 million of SOL at a discount. In contrast, the spot Ethereum ETFs in the US started the week positively, recording over $443.9 million in inflows on Monday, with BlackRock's iShares Ethereum Trust ETF leading the charge. These inflows into Ethereum funds were more than double those of spot Bitcoin ETFs on the same day, which saw an increase of $219 million. This divergence highlights varying investor interest across different digital assets and their associated financial products. It's clear the market is a mix of downturns and surprising wins, with different assets charting their own course. So, as we head into the weekend, what's the final word on these major stories? Stay tuned for our wrap-up. And that's a wrap on today's explosive Bitcoin Bulletin. We saw Bitcoin dip around conference events, Bitwise predict a massive future for Bitcoin, Eric Trump discuss financial equality, and a mixed market with some big wins for miners and Solana treasuries. Don't miss out on any of these critical updates. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, share your thoughts in the comments, and follow us on all our social channels for more. We'll see you next time.